Hey folks, it's Attorney Roger P. Foley here. Driving home from work and, the topic of this video is kind of tough love. I just got off the phone with a potential client, well, the family of a potential client, and they were sharing with me their child's problems and that he was facing a violation of probation. And after them sharing everything that they could share with me, ultimately my response was, let him sit. Sometimes, folks, when you have a child who's addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, has problems, sometimes the best thing that you can do is let him sit. Now, obviously, it depends on the situation, because sitting for years isn't what I mean. When I say sit, this young man was probably he's facing up to a year on a violation of probation, but the reality is it's probably a 30-day to 120-day sentence, depending on the judge, the prosecutor, and really the defense attorney. So even though I believed I could help, the family's voice was so sad. They were so overwhelmed with what their child was putting them through, what effect that this person was having on their other children. And 11 years ago, I wouldn't have said, hey, let him sit. But as time has gone by and I've learned more about addiction, and I've learned more about criminal law, and I've learned more about mental health, I've come to a conclusion that sometimes it's better to let a young man or a young woman sit, because I always say it's the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. At some point, you have to take charge of your life. If your family puts a Band-Aid on a leak, I think of a boat, I think a little rowboat, and you put a Band-Aid on it and you stop the leak temporarily, and in this case, you hire an attorney and you minimize the sentence, but then there's another hole and it keeps leaking and water keeps piling in, and individuals who have an addiction, until they're ready to face themselves and to make a change, until they look at the man or the woman in the mirror and say, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be an addict. I don't want to live this life. I don't want to have these risks. I don't want to look over my shoulder to see if I'm going to be arrested, if there's someone following me, if someone's going to mug me for my money, if someone's going to take my drugs. I don't want to live like this anymore. Until they get to that point, folks, you're putting a Band-Aid, right, on a hole in a boat. You slow the water down, but the water's still going to gush in. And you know what? Sometimes if people think that they have a rich family or well-to-do family and they're going to take care of things, they think that they're getting a get-out-of-jail-free card. But you know who suffers? The family suffers. They suffer monetarily and they suffer emotionally. It's not the addict. The addict has his own type of suffering, and I agree it is a disease, but if you enable it, it will grow. If you pay for everything, it will grow. If you think that, oh, well, he's sorry this time or she's sorry that time, good luck, folks. I've been doing this for 11 years. Anyone who deals with drug addiction, mental health issues, at some point, the individual himself, the defendant in the case, needs to stand up. So sometimes, like tonight, you say, ma'am, I think that you're going this way. I can feel the pain in your voice. Sir, I hear it in your voice. I hear the crumbling. I can hear that you're on the verge of tears. Don't beat up yourself. Let your child sit. I'm Attorney Roger P. Foley. I know it's not orthodox, folks, and I know other attorneys are like, oh, good, more money for me. And more money for you, but I'm going to sleep at night, and I'm really here to help people. So, folks, if you're watching this video and your son or daughter's in a situation, talk to a defense attorney, but don't rush to necessarily hand them the money. Ask them what the reality is of the situation, but analyze your own child and where they are. If they're working to make themselves better, if they're holding down a job, if they're struggling with it, well, you can help. If they just don't care and they're doing their own thing, let them sit. It's called tough love. I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Thanks for listening.